Stock market update, everyone. It's 27th of January. Let's look at where the opportunities lie for the week ahead and actually what just happened in the week that's gone. Let's kick off with valuations. First of all, these are the price earnings ratios, so the share price relative to the profitability of the various companies, and energy, yet again, together with some of the financials, really stands out as relatively undervalued. However, when we look at performance of the market, it's had another strong week with the exception of healthcare, which had been much vaunted by the major banks as being actually the one sector which is going to do really well this year. But I suspect people are taking their profits from last year and putting it elsewhere. And you can see where elsewhere is. Some of the big tech, which the banks missed and said, no, technology companies won't work. Well, I think they will. They've put it in energy, but I've got out of energy largely because, again, took the bumper profits from last year and are looking at some of the more undervalued, beaten down stocks. So we'll go into some of these in a second and we'll look in detail at some more of these. Another measure of valuation is, of course, price earnings growth ratio. And on this, and you want the number to be below 1, energy really stands out, and the only one which is really significantly undervalued. That, of course, won't stop the market from rising. So let's look at what the bellwether condition is. If you look at the S&P 500, for the first time in a year, it's broken out above that upward trend. This is most definitely forming a base. If you're risk averse, you'll wait. I don't think it's going to do this. I think what's more likely is we do have some danger of just resuming a downward slide for a short while at least. There still remains some risk, but this is positive that the monthly, what's called the MACD momentum, is upwards. Look at Apple. What about that? Again, forming a nice little base. It's taking its sweet time, and I said it would do something like this. It's taken a little bit quicker than that. Now, this resistance usually becomes this support usually becomes a resistance, and so I wouldn't be surprised if it drops off a little bit before going up. But if it does break back into this area, then you're really looking at returning to those kinds of levels. So I remain an owner of Apple and bullish on Apple. What about Amazon? Well, after that massive fall of 54%, it is back on track to deliver the kinds of returns we were talking about. I remain in Amazon, and it's forming a nice little base to go upwards. Meta, well, it's had that little V shape. So there we go, after a 77% drop from peak to trough. And can we get a 340% return from down here, which is what we called over a 2-year period? Well, it's on track, even if it goes back here. And as long as it stays on there, it's on track. It's still on track. We're on track. PayPal, well, from that low point, again, another 77% drop. We're looking at a 42% return, but it might take you a couple of years, and that's where we are on that at the moment. And it's sort of on track. It's a shame it's not going to have a V-shaped recovery, but there you are. Let's go back to some of the energy-related companies, as it were. That's forming something of a top, and as you can see, it's one of the reasons why we started getting out of some of these kinds of industrial conglomerate-type companies. Now, it's still within this band, and for those of you who are a bit more risk-loving, as long as it's in there, you'll continue holding. Occidental Petroleum, again, the problem with some of the energy companies, you can see it starting to look toppy. You can see how it's just holding on to that support. And if we're to get that 23% return, then it'll have to hold on to that support. The danger is it falls low, so keep another watch for next week. How about Adobe? I look at this again, a bellwether, to give you some indication of how the markets are going. It's forming that base, and the market has helped it. Still within a downward trend, just slightly got out of it. Can it move upwards? Should do well this year alongside the other tech companies, given the sharp falls previously. Now, as you will know, this was a great trade for me at the back end of last year because of that fall. For those who are into those things, that's inverse head and shoulder. And am I saying it's going to replicate that distance to the upside? Well, it would actually just take us to levels that we saw before, and I suspect that's the direction we are more broadly likely to head into, especially as we get something of a base. So that's my projection for it, closer to 1.32, and that would make us more money. This made us quite a bit there last year anyway. Okay, APA, APA, toppy, staying above resistance support, so that's good. Mastercard, base, and that's just shot ahead. We still own it. Might even have to think about getting out of it, given how quickly those returns came. But for now, I'm staying in it. Visa I own as well. It's accelerated a lot quicker than I thought it would. We thought it would take that long. That's myself and the team. Would take a year to give us a 26% return. It sort of did it in about a month. So we'll keep an eye on it. Might look now to break out above that resistance and go even higher. That's where we are on the momentum. Okay, Disney, 107% return over a year. Well, it's on track, so we'll just keep an eye on it. It's formed a nice little base there. Okay, where are we on that? Taiwan Semiconductor, nice little base. I own this as well. And it's broken beyond that downward trend and is moving higher. Okay, so that's positive news on that one as well. Now, we have NVIDIA, which I also own. Broken out of the downtrend. You see how a lot of them have done that this year? Downward trend from last year, broken out above it, and then you're looking at a 116% return in this case. Momentum fallen, so you can see why some of these are incredibly popular, and with me as well. I will do the second half of the update in a next video. Please follow, like, share. This will appear on YouTube. It'll appear on TikTok and my other social media. But please follow, like, share. And look at the links in the bio or alpeshpatel.com/links as well. But part 2 I'll do just so that we've got bite-sized videos. Thank you very much.